What's up, everyone? I'm Virginie from Better Music, and this is my podcast, Better Minds. On this podcast, we will have conversations about life, health, struggles, and music. I hope this place will make you feel loved and safe, and I really hope this place will make you feel like you can fully be yourself. Thank you so much for listening. I am so happy to share this new conversation with Amber. We talked about pop music, racism, and the struggles about being a Black female artist in the music industry. It was a beautiful and fun conversation, and I hope you like it. Thank you so much for being here. So, you are a Black woman making pop music.
I am.
And usually people would say, she's a Black woman. She's supposed to make R&B.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're being put in a box?
I feel like I think sometimes, yeah. I think when I first started, I remember like having a very specific conversation when I was in college because I went to a music school, at a very specific, um, conversation with someone where they were like, "Oh, like you go to Berkeley." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I do." And they're like, "Oh, me too." And I was like, "Cool." And they were like, "What kind of music do you make?" And before I could even answer, they were like, "R&B." And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Soul." And I was like, "No." And they were like, "So what do you make?" And I was like, that's like genuinely really sad that this is a conversation I'm having. But I was like, I think at the time I said an answer like I make whatever music I want to make, but I don't think it's R&B or soul. I think some people place that on me, like they'll hear my music and they'll be like, "You're like kind of soulful, right?" And I'll be like, um, I don't, I don't know. I think when people are like, "Oh, that this is neo soul and da da da," I'm like, "Do you guys listen to that kind of music, or do you just see like a Black person and you're like, this is what you're doing actually, you know?" And so I think I was met with that a lot when I first started. I think now people are opening they're broadening their horizons and definitely like opening their palette up to um I think especially now, I think now Black women and Black people in general, um we don't want to be a monolith. We don't want to be just pigeonholed into one thing. So I think people are a little more, accepting of the fact that like I make pop music, or my stuff kind of leans singer songwriter. Um, and pop, like obviously there are pieces of it that are R&B leaning, but I think it is pop music at the end of the day.
It is. And I remember I discovered you with Ordinary. Oh my God, this
Yes.
song makes me so happy every
I
time I
love that.
play it.
It is definitely, it feels like glitter and sugar and goodness in a song. It feels like an explosion of that, which makes sense because I do talk about confetti in the song.
Yep.
So it feels very like this is pop and this is exciting and this is happy. That's what it feels
Yep.
like.
And by the way, I always love when artists use the word confetti
Really.
for some reason.
I think I mean I like Yeah, I think for me as a writer, I like to use words that people don't usually use. And I feel like the word confetti isn't like used a lot in music. But like that's kind of like how the song felt. You know what I
I
mean?
love it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song about grief
Mm.
from Patrick Droney, and he used the word confetti in a
Oh.
sad song.
Oh,
And
that's kind
I
of
love
fire.
that. I love that.
Yeah, the juxtaposition of that is
Yep.
like is really special.
hmm So, how
Mm-hmm.
do you think the industry's expectations of Black women in pop music
Mm-hmm.
have influenced your creative process?
Hmm. I think I think at this point I've kind of I guess I've stopped caring what people expect of me. Um, I think it influences my creative process in the way that I feel as though I'm unique in a way. You know, I think that like I was kind of saying before with my writing, I think because I'm like a pop writer, a pop leaning writer, I think I still, you know, it's not that I'm completely turned away from R&B or soul or any of those kinds of genres because I definitely love them and I listen to them and I think they're beautiful art forms. They're just not always the most authentic expression of me, but I am inspired by that kind of music. So I definitely take things from everything I listen to. So I feel like with my pop writing, I'm able somehow to marry my love for lyrics, like in rap, into that. So I feel like I'm able to use like wordplay and have like rapper esque lyricism with R&B inflection, but it's in a pop song, if that's
Hmm.
making sense. So it's like I write pop the way that I write it, you know? I don't like it's like I write pop music the way that I write it. And I guess to me, I'm like, if you don't like that, or if you want me to do something else, like, hate to
Fuck
break it to
off.
you. No, I wouldn't say those exact words, but like, if you want me to do something else, I'm probably not going to do something else, you know? And I think what makes and I think what makes people stick around is because I'm not trying to be anything other than myself. I mean, you've been following me like Ordinary came out like what 3-ish years ago, I want to say. And like you stuck around because you like the music, you know what I mean? And I've had a lot of people who've been around since Ordinary or even before then that just like what I'm doing and like the sounds that I choose and the music I'm making. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, and also as an artist, I write for the people that listen to me. I write for the people who like I write for myself, but I think I also write for the people who are listening to me. Like I want to give people what they want of me, you know?
Mm.
But not in a way where I'm like trying to be something I'm not because people want me. So I'm just going to keep being me and hopefully that'll keep sticking, you know?
Yep, it will. And I
Mm-hmm.
love your writing.
Thank you.
Just like you said, it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So can't wait to hear more music.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely going to be more. I mean, I did have a release in the spring, which is some of my favorite writing that I've done. I had an EP release, and then so that was part one, and part two of the EP will be out very soon, actually. So yeah, so that one is a little more. That one definitely is a little more pop leaning. I think there are more upbeat songs on there, and songs that are a little more fun. They're fun sounding. I think subject matter, they're always a little somber, but I think they're fun sounding. And I think yeah, it's like almost like an end of summer kind of vibe,
Mm,
which I really like. So,
love that. Can't wait.
mhm, yes.
So could you define pop music? What is pop music to you?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. Um, I think pop music is anything that's popular, you know?
Mm,
That's what pop means technically. And so anything can really be pop music, but um, how would I define it? Hmm, I think that's a hard thing to answer because I know what is not pop, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I know, but I don't know if I can pinpoint what is because I think pop can be, again, it can be an array of things, you know?
Mm,
Pop is Ariana Grande, but pop is also like Lord, you know?
yeah.
Pop is like pop is Taylor Swift, but pop is also SZA. You know what I mean? And those are like And those are all different artists from one another, but they all are under the umbrella of pop. I think pop, I, I it's hard to define, but I know that I'm that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
If I don't know, I don't. It's hard to define, but I know that I am it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to define it because it's a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements, um, and just to piggyback off of it, like SZA, she's always like to me, I think she's able to kind of bridge the gap between like R&B and pop music
Hmm.
somehow. Like, but she's also like alternative in a way. So it's like, but the thing is, I think as artists, as writers, we're all again grasping from everything we
Yep.
listen to and everything that we're inspired by. So that's why it's kind of like pop is just like a melting pot of all music, basically.
Mhm.
Because the thing about pop music is that it's able to reach masses of people, but every artist is somehow unique. So it's like, I guess if I had to define it, I'd be like, pop is a melting pot of like all music genres. Like
Yep.
somehow they're all able to live in that space and still be considered pop.
I agree.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I would say that pop is a song like those Ace of Base songs that was purely pop,
Mm,
but it changed.
yeah. I mean, again, like whatever, like you have to think about Michael Jackson is considered the king of pop.
Mm.
Madonna was considered the queen of pop. Janet Jackson was also pop. Whitney Houston was pop. Um, I mean, there was a point in time where Beyonce was pop, Lady Gaga's pop. Like, you know what I mean? I think again, whatever, again, it's a melting pot of like everything, but somehow is able to be relatable and have the reach of like everyone for some reason. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
mm-hmm.
And what makes a good pop song?
mm, I thought you'd never ask. Okay, what makes a good pop song? A good pop song has a good hook.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be catchy, but it does have to stick, if that makes sense. Um, oh, I have like a list of the best pop songs on earth. Okay, hold on. Let me get my
Yes,
phone.
I need that.
Oh, this is okay. I have like a list in my phone called top fives.
I love that.
And um my top five, let me look here. Top five pop songs for me. These are my personal favorite pop songs, okay?
Okay.
Teenage Dream by Katy Perry,
Mm-hmm.
because that hook. Well, also I love that song because of the bridge,
Yeah.
first and foremost. Um, two, number two, these are not in a particular order. I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Hook, Poppy, Big. Last Dance by Donna Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Another one. All for You by Janet Jackson.
Oh,
That to me is
so good. Oh my God.
it's all for you. It's like a great, I think a good pop song feels good. Um, has really good lyrics. Um, I Want It That Way. I Want It That Way
Oh my
breaks the
God.
lyric. I Want It That Way breaks the lyric rules for me because lyrically, I don't know if you know the story about I Want It That Way, but the story about it is that Max Martin, who's Swedish, I think he wrote that song, right? So the lyrics don't really make much sense because English is a second language.
Yep, I know the story.
Right. And so then the label was like, we don't like it. It doesn't make any sense. And so then they changed it, but then nobody liked it. And then they changed it back to the original. And so
Yep.
to me, again, like I Want It That Way feels good, great hook. The verse, I think what makes a good pop song is that the verses are memorable too. I think that like
Mm-hmm.
I think that people forget that a verse is important because they're so focused on the hook. And so I think a verse is important. And I think for me personally, a verse is where details live. And I think that's what makes a good songwriting in general. I think what makes somebody a good writer is how much they remember and how specific they can be. And I think the hook is is like supposed to be the part people remember, but I think the verses is kind of where the meat and potatoes are, you know what I mean? Where you
Yep.
can be a little more vulnerable, a little more like expository, like specifics. Like Katy Perry's Teenage Dream does really well with specifics in her verses where she's like, you think I'm pretty without any makeup on. You think I'm funny when I get the punchline wrong. Those are very specific things someone could like about you. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I let my walls fall down, da, 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 da. You know what I mean? And I think there are things like that, like again, like songwriting, you can be specific and still somehow be generic at the same time. Like if you're able to be specific but still relatable, I think you're on the money with writing. So I think that's what makes a good pop song.
Wow. I love that. I love pop
Thank you.
music.
I
I
love
have a playlist
writing.
of pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play it all the time during COVID.
They're great. Like I think like some of the best pop songs, like you have to think about it, like again, pop music makes the world go around, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly. You
ugh,
know what?
I love talking about writing.
I'm gonna give you a few songs that I have on my playlist, and you're
Oh
gonna
no,
tell me what
yes.
you think. Just random songs that I put.
Okay.
So, I think I'm in love with you, Jessica Simpson.
Love that.
Oh my God. Next, we have How Will I Know, Whitney Houston.
That is a perfect song. That song is perfect. Like I don't give that like title to many songs, but that is a perfect song for sure.
It is. Dancing on My Own, Robin.
That's a good one. I'm in the corner,
Oh,
watching you kiss her.
she just makes sad and happy songs at the same time.
No, exactly. She masters being specific, and being relatable at the same time, you know, because these are probably specific things that have happened. Like that's such a like I'm in the corner watching you kiss her is like everyone has felt like that, but that probably actually happened to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, love it. You just gotta like. Sorry, I'm like rambling because I'm a songwriter because a good song is able to do that. A good song is able to like have you relate to people, like using your specific experiences to relate to people is like what makes good artistry, which is something that I try to do. But continue. I want to hear more. Sorry.
You know what? I forgot about this song. Give Your Heart a Break, Demi
Demi
Lovato.
Lovato. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes. Her
good.
pop era. So good. I'm not kidding. Like, uh, great hook.
It's
Again,
huge. It's
it's a
huge.
big, big hook. You know what I mean? That makes a great pop song.
I put
It's a lost art.
Casanova. Casanova from, I don't know if you know this band, Ultimate Chaos.
No, I've never heard of them.
This is a smash.
It's a smash. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to listen to it.
And last one, I have so many more, but How Deep Is Your Love? Calvin
That is a
Harris.
Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about the
Big.
Bee Gees. How deep is your? I thought you were talking. Oh,
No.
interesting. Ah, how deep is your love? I thought you were talking about that one. I
Nope.
really need to know because that's a great pop song too.
It is a good song. Do you know the
Great
band
song.
Years and Years?
I have. They do have a one song that I know. I don't think they were ever huge in the US. I think
But
they might have been
oh,
huge in Europe.
the first album has so many great songs,
Hmm.
so many good pop songs.
Okay.
But anyway, let's go back to something else.
No, you're so good. I could talk about pop music and writing for hours. So,
You know what? Me too. So, as a black female pop artist, what
mhm.
biggest struggles do you have to go through on a daily basis?
Daily. Wow. I mean, I feel like there are things like obviously just like being in America, you know, racism is so real. And I think that um being just that in general. And then I feel like even in the industry, I think often, I mean, when I was a kid, I remember my mom had a conversation with me. Um, I remember I was very young and she gave me the twice as hard to get half conversation. I don't know if your parents have ever had this kind of conversation with you, but it's more so like as a Black person, as a person of color, in order to get recognized, in order to achieve something, you have to work twice as hard to get half of the recognition as like someone who's white, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so I think something that comes with being Black and also being a woman is that I have to try twice as hard to be seen. I have to be twice as hard to I have to try twice as hard, period. I have to be twice as talented as the people in the room. I have to be um, twice as beautiful. I have to be
Mm-hmm.
twice as like everything. I have to be everything to the max in order to only get half. Like, and if you think about that conversation with, um, I'm not trying to pit any women against each other, any fans or anything like that. With the whole conversation of Beyonce winning album of the year, right? Like, album Beyonce was the most decorated Grammy Award winner. Like she had the most Grammys and never won album of the year, which is crazy because a lot of the people who have won, album of the year hadn't been in the game as long as she has, aren't nearly as talented as her, aren't nearly as like, not to say they didn't deserve like the awards that they get, but it's like we have seen Beyonce grow and develop and work so hard as an artist. From Destiny's Child, even before that, when she was like a kid, to now, and she just now won album of the year, which is insane
Mm-hmm.
because she should have, like, if you're a Beyonce fan like me, or if anybody listens to her, it's almost shocking that she didn't win album of the year like years ago. Like for this to be the first time she won album of the year, like for the last Grammys to be the year that she finally won album of the year is insane. Because a lot of people were like, she should have won for Lemonade, or she should have won for the Beyonce self-titled record, which were like years ago. I remember Lemonade came out when I was in college, and the Beyonce self-titled came out when I was in high school. So we have been like, she should have won like 10 plus years ago. You know what I mean? And so it's shocking that she was the most decorated artist at the Grammys and never won album of the year. It didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all of that to say that even Beyonce had to work twice as hard as everybody else and be twice as amazing as everybody else in order to win album of the years like 30 years after she should have won it, which is insane. Because some people like come out the gate, a lot of artists like come out the gate and win album of the year fairly quickly, you know? They and it's just very odd. All of that to say, I think um trying twice as hard and going twice as hard as everybody else or people around me is definitely a difficult part of being a Black woman in pop, because I think a lot of people think pop music looks a certain way also,
Mm-hmm.
if you're catching my drift. I think people think pop music sounds a certain way, and there's a certain face that think pop music should have. Um, but I don't know. I'm willing to I'm willing to work a little hard for my spot, I guess is what I'm saying.
That is tough.
Very, for sure.
Do you think it's harder in the US?
Um, I mean, I've never experienced it anywhere else. I've only lived here my whole life, and I've never tried to like dip. I've never really gone, I mean, I've never been out of the country, but that's definitely a goal I have. But um I don't know. I don't know what it's like to live as somebody Black or as a person of color in another country. I don't know if that's how it is everywhere, or if it's just here in the US.
You know what?
But
Because, I live here and I
mhm.
traveled a lot in the US and I saw I only went to LA and New York once and
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, but I realized that in LA mostly that people would live in communities and you would have black people, Asian people, Mexican people. That's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And in France, for example, we all grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to school, we had black people, Asians,
Mm-hmm.
and, every ethnicity. So I think it's more diverse here and we are more open. Racism is still here, but
Sure.
I think the US is like another level of racism. I don't think it's never going to go away because of
Mm-hmm.
history. I don't know why,
Sure.
but yeah,
Yeah.
that's just insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, um, yeah. Like there's nothing really else to say. Like it's hard to explain it. Um, it's hard to explain it, especially when you don't like live here. Like obviously it's like years and years and years of systematic oppression and years and years of like, racism and laws put in place to, stop anybody who isn't white from, succeeding and doing well and all of the things. And so that's really hard to undo um, with a few laws passed like maybe 50 years ago. You can only work and pray for change, like people who fought for the civil rights of people of color in this country, like they did something very, very hard and very, very difficult. And I applaud anybody who, you know, did it for us or did it for me when I wasn't even alive. And
Mm,
so I'm super grateful. But there is work to still be done.
always.
So mhm,
It's going to take a lot of time.
absolutely.
But anyway, how do you stay true to yourself?
Hmm. How do I stay true to myself? Um, I stay true to myself. Um, I think my faith has a lot to do with staying true to myself. I think if I didn't believe in God, I don't think I would be where I'm at right now. I don't think I would be making music. I think I'd be very lost and very insecure
Mm,
about my future and about where I'm going. Um, I think before I knew God, before I gave my life to Jesus, I think I was always a little insecure and like a little, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? I don't know. Da, da, da. But I think once I like started like following God and I really felt like he was like, this is what you're gifted to do and this is what you're called to do. That's when I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna just keep doing this. And I think there's been fruit of that. Um, I didn't mean that it hasn't come with challenges, but I think because I just trust in what I believe God has brought me to and through, then I am able to do that. And that's not just with like music. I think it's with who I am just internally. I think that yeah, again, I think like in high school and things like that, I was a very insecure person. Like I had confidence, but I think insecurity kind of lied in like, I guess insecurity kind of lied in um my decision making where I was like, what should I do? What do I do? What do I do? I was always kind of been that kind of person. Not always, but like I think when I was younger, um, I was always like, oh, what should I do? But then something just switched in my brain and I was just like, no, this is what I'm gonna do and I'm gonna stick to it. And once I make my mind up about something, I'm like, go big or go home. So I think what makes me stay true to myself is just like having a foundation of like faith, but also just like really sticking to my guns, you know what I mean? And being faithful to things. Um, I think what also helps me stay true to myself is being around like-minded people, being
Mm.
around other artists as well, being around other songwriters, people who like understand what I'm going through when I get discouraged, or if I say, oh, like this really bothered me, or like, I feel like I'm like getting left behind and da da da. Like people can ground me and tell me, especially people who are observing me and are observing my life and like live life with me. They're able to like encourage me and tell me, who I am when I forget it, And I think that's been like super important with just living life. I think that's what helps me remain true to myself.
Yeah. And that's hard to stay true sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like I feel like even with music, um, obviously there are like certain things that trend or certain sonics that are trending and all of the things. And it's like, I think as an artist, you should be palatable and you should be able to like move with the times. But I don't think that means you have to sacrifice your integrity or sacrifice like what makes you you. You know what I mean? Um, I think you should be able to move with the times, but I do think you should be able to whatever is the heart of who you are should just be like the foundation of the music, like what people stay for. It should always what brought people in should be what people stay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so.
And who are you?
Wow.
Who's
Who am?
Amber?
Oh my gosh. Amber Ace, the person, or Amber Ace, the artist?
Both.
Both. I mean, I feel like they kind of bleed into each other. Um, I feel like there are pieces of the real me in my artistry, and then there are pieces, yeah, there are pieces of the real me in my artistry. I think Amber Ace, the person, is cool. I think I think Amber Ace, the person, is cool and funny and smart. I think Amber Ace is beautiful, sensitive. Um, she's a lover girl. But that doesn't really make her weak, even though sometimes she does feel like it does. Amber Ace is afraid to be vulnerable, but isn't afraid to get hurt if those two things could coexist. But yeah, Amber Ace the artist is Amber Ace the artist is the main character in the rom-com. That's what Amber Ace the artist is, and I feel like I want my music to feel like that. Um, I want my music to feel like people are rooting for me in a way. Um, but also like want to watch the movie of my life and see how like all these things unfold. Um, I think as a writer and artist, I want to be the soundtrack of somebody's life. I think something that I feel like has drawn people to me has been my authenticity and my honesty, and um, that my lyrics feel like a page ripped out of someone's diary. Um, and so I want to keep being that, um, and again being specific and relatable at the same time. Like understanding that by being vulnerable on this page and having my songs be a mirror, they'll be able to like help other people maybe process things that they were afraid to feel and process things that maybe they didn't have the words to say. So,
Mm. Damn, I almost cried when you defined yourself. That was
oh,
so beautiful.
oh, thank you. I mean, I don't know. I think no one has ever really asked me that before, but I think um what helps me like know who I am is like I have these affirmations on my phone and I look at them every day. Um And I also have this tattoo on my arm. Actually, somebody just asked me about it. I don't know if y'all could see, but I have this
Yeah.
tattoo on my arm. It's the creation of Adam. And basically, obviously, if you guys read, I don't know if anyone like reads the Bible, but it's like it's a very popular painting by I believe Michelangelo. Um, and I got it on my arm because um I really liked the verse in the Bible. It's in Psalm 39. It says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full and well. And I think when I read that, I think a lot of the time people focus on the first half, but I think the second half is a little more important because it's like, if we are fearfully and wonderfully made, his works are wonderful. And I know that full and well. The works that he the works are me. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
your works are wonderful and I know that full and well. It's like you made me wonderful and I know that deeply in my heart. So I think when I think about that, it's easier for me to speak about myself and be like, this is who I am. Like your works are wonderful and I know that full and well. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I need to do that too. Because it's
You would be
hard.
surprised. And I think, I mean, which is insane because I feel like I'm somebody, I mean, if we're going to be talking about mental health, I think I'm somebody who sometimes struggles with like self talk, you know what I mean? Like in my mind.
Mm.
I think as somebody who is a hard worker and an achiever, you know, it's hard being an achiever because you feel like sometimes you feel like you're defined by what you do. And if you don't do anything, or if you feel like you're not doing anything, like the self speech gets a little gets a little dark.
Yeah.
um, because you work hard and you want to achieve things, so you want more for yourself. So you sometimes put too much pressure on yourself, you know? And I think something that I'm you know, especially as a writer, as an artist, like I'm not necessarily in competition with anybody around me, but I think I'm I push myself to be better and I put so much pressure on myself. So um little reminders like this tattoo help me remember that like I don't need to put that much pressure on myself, you know. But I think something I do, you know, often I think a lot of artists do, like we're all our worst critic, you know?
Mm.
And we all, I mean, me personally, like I'm always about like getting better and being better than what I was. So I think that's where the whole like pressure and like sometimes the negative self-talk comes in.
Yeah. And do
Mm-hmm.
you celebrate your small victories?
I do. I do.
It's key.
It is key. It is key. I think I should do it more often than
Mm.
I do. But I think that something that works is always gratitude. And something that works is celebrating even like the smaller things, because that means like big things can come too, you know?
Yeah. And how did your music evolve since Ordinary?
Wow. How did my music evolve since Ordinary? I think sonically, like I wanted to use sounds that were like a little darker. I think Ordinary is like fun and it's definitely not like that like glittery pop, sugar, confetti, sprinkles. Like it's definitely that vibe. But I don't know if that's been me like my whole life, you know? Um, I think I don't think that's always me. And so especially as I've grown up, as I mean I wrote that song. I literally wrote it, I think 2020, and then I didn't release it until 2022. So it's that was 5 years ago. Like, you know, the person I was 5 years ago is different. And the person I am right now, and I'm in the artist I was 5 years ago is different. And so I think I've lived a lot more life. I think I've matured a lot, and I wanted to mature sonically as
Mm.
well. Um, and that doesn't mean you can't be like glittery or sugary. Um, but I think there are certain sonic choices I'm making. I think there's certain lyrics I'm choosing and certain ways of writing that are different and evolving. Because again, I've lived 5 years since then. You know, I've had like a lot of growing that I've done in the last 5 years. So I think my artistry also grew with me. So I'm still trying to find it. I think right now I think in the I was trying a lot of stuff, but I think now I'm trying to like solidify and establish a sonic identity.
Yeah, I can totally hear that.
Yeah.
You're gonna like this question. What's your favorite album ever?
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is difficult. This is actually a hard question.
You have a
Favorite
list?
album. I do have a list. Uh this is really hard. I have to give you five.
Okay.
Like I can't give you just one. This is actually difficult. Okay, we're gonna go with number one, Control by SZA. Perfect album,
Mm-hmm.
top to bottom. Battle Studies, John Mayer.
Yeah.
So that's two. Um, this is already difficult. I picked two. Okay, Lemonade, Beyonce. Great
Mm-hmm.
record. Calico, Ryan Beatty. And then, ooh, gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to pick it. It's technically not an album, it's an EP, but it's the Inner Monologue Part One by Julia Michaels. And I feel okay with that. Like if I was on a desert island and I had to pick
Great
five, I
one.
think I
Yeah.
would be those would be the ones I would have to pick.
Wow. That was tough.
It was really hard. It was really hard. Oh, dang. If you're reading this, it's too late by Drake. That also is another one that's like my favorite. Okay, I can't pick anymore because I already didn't answer the question right. So
5 albums. That's
five.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. Can I give you mine?
Yes, I would love to.
I see the CDs in front of me, so it's gonna be easier.
Okay.
um, Stripped by Christina Aguilera.
Great record.
The Evolution of Robin Thicke.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh my God, this album is so good. Songs About Jane, Moon 5.
Great record.
Damn, I forgot the title of this album. I think it's the same. It's Stacy Orico, the second one.
Great
The one
record.
the one with More to Life and Strong Enough.
Hmm.
And then I think I would say John Mayer, Continuum.
Great record. I get it. My favorite John Mayer song is Edge of Desire. So I
Oh,
couldn't
so good.
not pick Battle Studies
Yeah, it's a good
because
one.
it's my favorite song. It's my favorite song of all time. But like if I had to choose, yeah, I would have to pick Battle Studies.
Oh, my favorite John Mayer song is Stop This Train.
That is in my top five John Mayer songs.
Incredible.
It's a great song. It's it's a great song. He's like
Yeah,
probably my favorite writer.
he is so good.
So incredible.
Let's go back to the two more questions.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to new Black women artists out there?
Mm. I would say honestly, one, I would say listen to good writers. Number one is listen to good writers, not not just artists. I think something that's helped me a lot is looking at song credits and then looking at songs that those people wrote.
Do your
And
homework.
yeah, like do your homework. You know what I mean? Like look at songs that those people wrote and think about what made you like this song or and all the things. Um, I think that do your homework, find out what you like, find out what feels good to you, and know who you are as a writer and artist, you know? Um, not just like a branding wise, but just like what do you want people to feel when they listen to you? What do you want to say when you're writing? Like, you know, I think part of your personality does bleed into part of your actual personhood does bleed into your artistry, but I think you should know who you are as both a person and an artist. I think collaborate with people in your area, in your space. Be friends with people. I think that's probably like my biggest one is like the one of the best advice, like the biggest advice we've ever gotten when we were in college was like, don't be a dick, which
Mm,
just means like just be cool, you know, like be fun to work with, be hardworking, um, be kind to people, you know, like one of my favorite things to do, like during a write or whatever, is like, how can I like serve somebody in this room? Basically, is like if someone's like, oh, I Ubered here, I'm like, oh, I could just give you a ride home. It's not that serious, you know? That's the kind of person I am in general, but it's like not everything is about what you can get out of it. Like think about what you can give to a situation as
hmm.
well. Um, yeah. So I would say do your homework, know who you are and love who you are. Um, and be a homie, be a friend. So I would say that.
Yeah. And leave your ego aside,
Leave your
please.
ego at the door. Cause I feel like sometimes you might be right about a situation, but you might not be able to say that you were right. And I think that's okay. You have to take the L and just sacrifice it. So,
Exactly.
mm.
And my last question, and my favorite one, what biggest life lessons have you learned so far?
Ooh, biggest life lessons. Good Lord. Question. Biggest life lesson. For me personally, is always number one is always trust the Lord. But for people who don't know Jesus, I would say, just find your people. You know, find people who ground you and understand you and love you, you know,
Mm,
because you're not even just being understood, but it's like find people who like don't make you feel hard to love. You know what I mean? I think community is so key. And I think that's community is key for artistry, but I think community is key for life. Like you have to think about like who is like, you know, how your parents have these friends that have been in their lives forever.
mm,
You have to think about like who are my kids gonna call auntie that isn't their auntie? You know what I mean? Who are my yeah, like who is gonna be my uncle whatever that isn't related to me, but like shows up at every family function and helps my dad out when these things are going on, you know? Community and having long lasting friendships is like so important. Um, another one is we need to be off our phones, okay? We don't need to
yeah.
be on our phones all the time. I am addicted to the phone, but we don't need to be on the phone all of the time. Okay. Sleep. Sleep is important. That's another one. Going to bed at a reasonable hour and like going to bed at a reasonable hour, that is a great life lesson that I've learned where I'm like, you know, I don't actually need to be outside at this hour of the night. I could be in bed, you know? Because as you get older, sleep is so like you realize how much you need it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which
It's
is
everything.
like it literally is everything. You don't realize how much sleep you need until you don't have it, you know? um, so yeah, those are the three that I've that I think I would say life lessons is finding community of people, go to sleep, and call your parents more. I think that's another one.
Thank you so much for this.
Of course. Thank you for having me. You asked really good questions.
I did my best.
Good. It was very good. Your best was excellent.
Thank you. That was really fun.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Just I mean, the EP dropping. Um, so I guess we might have an album coming too. So we're gonna be packaging the EP as an album, and there'll be like two additional songs on that album. And then after that, um, I'm just gonna probably chill because I've just had like a lot going on this year. Lots of jobs, lots of music stuff, and it's been a blessing. But I think I'm also writing another like album slash project at the same time. So I think um in the fall I'm gonna be just kind of chilling out on releases and just not hiding, but just like taking my time to rest, write, and then top of 2026, I'm probably gonna be recording and getting everything together. And so that's gonna be exciting. And I'm excited to launch this next era next year. But that one's definitely under wraps right now. So that one's definitely lock and key. Can't say much about it, but I am excited for it. So, but there will be more music this year. If you're listening, you can follow me on Instagram at Amber_Ais, and Ace is spelled AIS. You can find me, honestly, I think you can find me anywhere: TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere at Amber Ais. So please be on the lookout. And thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you so much for checking out my music. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. I absolutely loved this conversation. I love pop music. I grew up listening to pop and R&B, and it was so fun and interesting to talk about pop music and all the challenges she's going through as a Black female artist. But I would just say this: be open-minded. It's time to stop putting people in a box. I know we always have to categorize artists, but be open-minded to the possibility that every person and artist can make whatever music they want to make. Music is about expressing who you really are. Don't try to be someone you're not. Society will want you to make this or that type of music, and they will expect you to sound a certain way. But be yourself, make your own rules. All right, see you in 2 weeks. Take care of yourself and take care of your mind. Bye.